in our previous conversation with Norman Adami.
There was a major shift in the industry in 2008, and the attractiveness of the industry, the economics of the industry just made a major shift. Obviously, I applied the basic approach that I had learned so much in my business career. And I've got a simple philosophy that I've also applied in business, and it's an acronym. It means SAB, or the acronym is SAB. It stands for Simple, Action, Bold. And the first magnificent breeding bull that we had, and the bull that's proven to take us to another level as Nyumbu, was a bull called Tyson.
Norman concludes our conversation and shares some business wisdom with us.
Well, you asked me about business lessons that are applicable to the game industry. And, I worked for SAB at a very exciting time, not only for the company, but also for the industry worldwide. And I had the good fortune to be at SAB when we took this very secure, very successful company, South African company, to truly globally competitive levels. But at the same time, I was there to also enable and help the company move from a South African conglomerate to a beer-centric global player and global leader in the industry. And it was very exciting. And there were two most meaningful experiences that I had during my working career. One was when I was sent to America to turn around Miller Brewing Company, which had been in decline for 18 years, and to operate in a highly competitive market. And the other was when I returned to South Africa after America to overcome the difficulties that the company faced, having lost two of its premium brands, as our partner at the time, a partner of 40 years, had defected. And those two brands accounted for over 25% of our profits, and over 10%, over 15% share at that time of our market share. And I'm very pleased to say in both instances we were able to succeed and achieve what we set out to do. But as I reflect on it, there are some valuable lessons that I learned in the beer industry that is applicable to the wildlife industry. And I guess the first one is that you must challenge conventional wisdom. And I think that's very important right now, because I don't think there's been more skepticism about the game industry than there is now in recent history. And if you think back about it, people say, or if you think about it, people are saying that because of the political uncertainty, because of the economic uncertainty, it's impossible to grow in this industry, it's impossible to succeed, and it's impossible to drive a sustainable, successful business. And quite frankly, if you think about it, over the past 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, that's what the people have said about South Africa. That's what the people have said about the game industry in South Africa. And I can tell you that all those skeptics were proved wrong, because the industry was able to achieve many successes and things that people thought were never possible. And that's one of the more important lessons, I believe, that is valid to the industry today. That this industry does still represent opportunity for one. And one's got to look at it and believe that there is a sense of possibility. I guess the second lesson is that of making reality your friend. And what I mean by that is, when you're faced with challenges like a difficult economy, like a challenging environment, don't give up, don't let up and give up to these factors. That's all the more reason why you've got to face this reality and find creative ways to solve the problem, to reorientate yourself and to innovate and be creative with the way you run your business. And in that regard, I think it's important that all of us revisit our strategic choices. Strategy is about where to play, but it's also about how to win. And there are opportunities, because in the times of change, there are opportunities for people. And you can see what the industry is doing already. A lot of people are adjusting. We've also started expanding our playing field. We also involved in hunting. We started that operation about 3 years ago, and we're trying to build that up. We've diversified into game meat on a small scale. But our core business remains our breeding. And, we will not lose focus of that. I think there's also other things about how to win, issues that we've got to be very sharp on and very clear on. Well, there's certain capabilities that one's got to hone. Capabilities in terms of not only growing revenue that we spoke about earlier, but how to manage costs, cost containment. You've got to have capabilities to be able to do that. In how you manage your veterinary costs, how you manage your feed costs, how you manage your capture costs. And there are innovative ways and creative ways to do that. Similarly, you've got to have capabilities that are finely honed in terms of how to judge animals at an early age. You don't want to be feeding animals, having a costly program, when you can, in fact, identify at an early age this is a winner or it's a loser. Similarly, what combinations of bloodlines work. That capability to be able to identify that is also very important. And then the marketing capability. That's critical. And I don't think it's simply about placing an ad in a printed media. I don't think it's simply about putting an ad in the social media that's going to make you successful. That's not what marketing's all about. Marketing is building up an emotional thought about a material difference. And it's all about having substance behind what you're marketing. And so you've got to understand what makes your animal special, what makes your animal different, and what makes your animal sought after by the market. And that's what you've got to promote, what makes my animal unique and different, and create the awareness and the attraction around that animal. And there are ways and means of doing that, but how does one build that capability is very important. So those are really, so you don't make reality your friend so that you can give up. You make reality your friend because even when your back's against the wall, you can find new and creative ways to deal with your business and to deal with it in a successful way. That's the second lesson. I guess the third lesson is to harness the power of self-belief and the power of big ideas and the power of passion. And when I went to Miller and I went to the US, there were many things about the industry I didn't understand. I was at a huge disadvantage. It was a very complex industry, 50,000 regulations spanning across all the states, the different states. The beer consumer had a different mindset from what I was used to in South Africa. So there were many things I was at a big disadvantage of when I went to America. But one of the things I wasn't disadvantaged. In fact, I was advantaged when it came to self-belief, because I came from a company, SAB, that believed in itself. SAB never went onto the pitch thinking that it was ever going to lose. And when I arrived in America, I was quite surprised because I came to this company, Miller, that had been in decline for 15 years. And there the people had no great expectations. They were expecting to lose. And if you expect to lose, well, you're going to lose. And we had to work very hard to create that self-belief and to build off the passion. These people were very passionate. And we, one person at a time, one action at a time, one small victory at a time, we started to build that passion, and that spark started to come back into the eyes of the people and the system in Miller. And then it built its own momentum, and it became a great outcome, that you can actually overcome adversity. And that's the power of self-belief and the power of passion. And then I guess the last lesson is really that one must focus externally and not internally. And if I look at this industry today, you know, we spend a lot of energy squabbling with each other internally, when in fact we should be directing our competitive spirit externally and driving towards achieving our external goals and external challenges, like building South Africa as a destination of choice, not only for the tourists but also for the hunters. Building the wildlife industry as an investment of choice, not only for local investors but also foreign investors. And then building the reputation of private wildlife ranching as a force for good that will benefit all South Africans. Those are the challenges. Those are the external things we should all be working together to focus on. Because the one thing I did learn again in America, and obviously in my time in South Africa, is that together, united, we can overcome any challenges, no matter how formidable they are. But divided, we've got no chance of winning. So, united we will win, divided we will struggle. And that's the short message and short lesson that I believe is very relevant to our industry today. Well, the buffalo are now walking away and we are losing light. But I certainly don't believe that the future of our industry is bleak. And quite frankly, I'm still passionate about the possibility of what this industry can do, especially for our country. And our industry is so well positioned for the needs of our country today. We need economic growth, we need jobs, we need rural development, we need food security. And our industry is very well placed to be able to deliver on all those needs. So the economy of wildlife, I believe, is going to be one of the key solutions to South Africa's challenges. And I've spoken to the President about this myself because I believe so strongly in it, that it offers our country offers unique comparative advantage. We're playing to our natural strengths when we talk about the economy of wildlife. And that I mean in all its facets. And I believe that can be quite a substantial outcome and a substantial future, not only for our industry, but for our country. Alright, wat moet ek nog? Ek het ander goed om te sê, maar ek dink ek het genoeg gepraat.